Let's now continue this conversation then. We are now joined via Zoom by AZAPO President Nelvis Qekema to weigh in on the developments regarding the release of the political assassin Janusz Walus. Very good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you so very much for joining us here on SABC News.
Afternoon, Flo.
All right, let's start here then. I mean, where do you stand on the Constitutional Court's judgment on Monday, where a decision was made to release Janusz Walus on parole within 10 days. So essentially, this coming week, he should be a free man. Are you as outraged as the SACP and some of the ANC leaders have said they are?
Well, we have nothing against the judiciary because we believe the judiciary are doing their work. Their work is to interpret and apply the law, and they have done exactly that. Our anger and our rage is against the lawmakers, is against the ruling party, is against the SACP and the ANC, because they are the lawmakers. I mean, they've been in government in 28 years, and during that time, you know, they were the ones who made the laws that made Janusz Walus to escape. It is not the judiciary. So they need to go back and do what they have to do. Remember, it is the very same laws that the ANC and the SACP made, that made Dirk Coetzee to escape justice. That made Eugene de Kock escape justice. Not only escape justice when it comes to de Kock, but also the taxpayers' money stolen and given to de Kock 200,000 a month and 40,000 as his stipend. So we are angry against the ANC and against the SACP.
Is that why you didn't support the SACP today at the Constitutional Court? And have you made, your stance clear, to the SACP as to we don't actually think that you deserve our support based on the fact that we actually partly blame you for what's happening at this time? And wouldn't you want to show support perhaps to the Hani family, even if you're not supporting the SACP and you think that the ANC itself is the reason for why we find ourselves where we are today? Is there no way you could find yourself perhaps supporting the family? Because it does seem that you're not happy, in fact, with the fact that Janusz Walus is being released on parole.
Yes, we support the family and we cry with the family. In particular, Me Dimpo, because we believe a Walus deserves to rot in jail. He deserves to rot in jail. But we are angry, like I said, against the SACP. It doesn't work well. It doesn't matter. You're playing, with the feelings of the family, with the emotions of the family, to be going there and protesting against yourself. Because you are the ones, who let Walus loose. Nobody else, not the judges, not the judiciary, but the ANC and the SACP, who are now marching against their own lawmaking. So we are saying, look, go back to Parliament, go back to the legislature and do what you have to do. Remember, as AZAPO, we were opposed to the TRC laws in this country, which erased justice, which kicked out justice and made it a point that black people in this country will be forever on the wrong side of justice, because we were saying, your Dirk Coetzee, take Dirk Coetzee, who was the founder of the Flag Plus, where our leaders were killed and murdered. That Coetzee escaped justice by going to exile and joining the ANC, where he took a refuge against justice.
You talk about the plight of black people when it comes to the justice system. And I find a little bit of an irony in that you're unable to put aside your feelings of the SACP and the blame that you have for them for this current situation. I mean, essentially, you've watered down the power that the SACP could have if you had indeed joined them in this fight against Janusz Walus being released on parole. And certainly we know that, we always hear divide and conquer. Would you not be able, just for this time, to be able to unite with SACP on this particular stance and strengthen, their plea, and indeed what we're seeing in terms of their rage? Surely you would be able to help in terms of numbers, but to then say to them, but you've erred, you've done wrong.
we are not prepared as AZAPO to take the people for a ride. We are not prepared as AZAPO to fool and play with the emotions of the people. We are not going to be out there and then be with the people, who let Walus loose, who allowed through their lawmaking Walus to escape justice, through their lawmaking, who betrayed Chris Hani and his family. Remember again, we are saying, when we say this, we believe, and we're very angry that Walus deserves to rot in jail. But remember, the same parole laws which let Walus loose are the same laws through which the ANC leaders benefited. Right? You have Ellen Busak, who stole the money of the people, charity money, and then he was let loose through a presidential pardon, and then you have a Bukananzi, the husband of Nomgobojia, who stole the money of his clients, through out of the trust fund, and then he escaped through. So you see, this is what is happening, and we are saying we are very angry. It is about time that those who have the majority use the majority to the benefit of the people, justice be returned to the people. Till today, the killers and the murderers of Steve Biko are still walking free. I mean, Big Bota had to die of himself. Who's the other one? De Klerk had to die of himself. He was walking free. Again, Big Bota, who is responsible for all the murdering of our people, he himself had to go and join the ANC to escape justice.
Let's talk about, the big question when it comes to Chris Hani and circumstances around his murder. There are many still angry about the fact that they believe, and I think the SACP actually said this again today, that he never actually disclosed the whole truth. And it's interesting because you're saying that AZAPO was never for that whole Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the confessions there. When you think about all of this and the circumstances around his death and around who sent Janusz to assassinate Chris Hani, what are your views on all what people think? And I mean, there's a lot of people who have some theories about who might have sent Janusz to kill Chris Hani. Where does AZAPO stand on this? And have you been vocal about what your views and thoughts are actually, apart from the fact that you blame the SACP and ANC for saying that this is why we are where we are?
Whoever killed Chris Hani is not somebody who was against democracy. It was not somebody who was, against that settlement, but it was somebody who thought Chris Hani was so radical that he was going to turn this thing in favor of the black people and demand more, the victims of the lack of justice.
Would you be willing to give us a name? Would you be willing to give us a name?
No, I don't know the name because the name is out there anyway, and the name is obvious, and the name is not even one person by the look of things. The name is a group of interests. The interests that were against black people, gaining real freedom, true freedom, freedom that has the substance of economic justice, the wealth, the land. Till today, we are landless. Till today, the Constitution does not speak to us. It is speaking to Janusz Walus and against Chris Hani. Speaking against Unkgopotse Tiro, his killers are still walking free and then enjoying this democracy more than us black people who fought and died for it for centuries.
All right, thank you very much for giving us your input this afternoon. AZAPO President Nelvis Qekema, we appreciate your time, Tata.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that is, of course, our continuing conversation then, and getting reaction, certainly, on the issue of Janusz Walus being released on parole, that decision made on Monday at the Constitutional Court. And, of course, the SACP saying that they will indeed fight the issue.